Okay, lesson 57, algebra 1/2, mixed number problems. Now, I like to do these a little differently than Saxon. Okay, I like to translate going from left to right. All right, so 2.5 is 2.5. That's the mixed number 2 and 1/2. Of means times. What number? N. Is equals. And then 7 1/3, we don't have to translate, we just have to write it there. So, translating from English left to right, we have 2.5 times n equals 7 1/3. Now, we want to get rid of the mixed numbers, so 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. 5 over 2n. 3 times 7 is 21, plus the 1 is 22. Put it over the 3, 22/3. Now our goal is to get n all by itself, and we saw in the last lesson that if you just multiply 5/2 by the reciprocal, which is the number flipped over, 2/5, when you multiply you'd get 10 over 10 or 1, and 1 times n is just n. So by multiplying by the reciprocal it makes that 5/2 disappear. So that's how we get n. But what you do to one side of the equation, you have to do to the other. So we multiplied this side of the equation by 2/5. We have to multiply this side. Now when you do this, there's nothing to cancel. You multiply the top times the top, which is 44, and the bottom times the bottom, which is 15. Now you could write it as a mixed number. 15 goes into 44 2 times, 30, and remainder 14. 2 and 14 15ths. Done. The next one, once again, we start on the left and translate. 2 1/5 is right here. 2 1/5. That's a mixed number. Of means times. 8 1/8, we don't have to translate. We just write it. Is means equals, and what number is n? So our goal is to get n all by itself. Well, it's already all by itself. So all we have to do is simplify this side. So we change the mixed numbers to improper fractions. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 1 is 11/5. And 8 times 8 is 64, plus 1 is 65/8. So whenever you multiply mixed numbers, you always want to change them to improper fractions. And so now we could multiply that out, but we could cancel. See, if the number ends in 5, we know 5 goes into it. Anyway, 5 goes in once, 5 goes into 13. 5 goes into 65 13 times. Now I multiply 11 times 13, which is 143, and 1 times 8 is 8. So n equals 143 over 8. Or you could write it as a mixed number. 8 goes into 14 one time, then you have 63 goes in 7, remaining 7. That's a little harder this time. But, if you use your pen and paper, you can figure it out. But your answer is 143 over 8, or 17 7/8. Kind of an easy lesson. Bye.